the Bible not as a religious book, which it is for those who are religious and not for those who aren't, but to at a minimum look at it as the bestseller of all time, and an amazing business resource. In my experience, more people attribute their business success to that book than any other book. And so what we want to do is go through each week and look for one or two lines and then try to glean from its secrets so we can apply to our business success as well. And so I'm certainly open if you have any particular lines that you like or stories that you like to submit, feel free in the social media, put it in the comments section. I'd be glad to share those with the group. Normally we do this at 5 p.m. on Mondays, Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we stream it live to YouTube and Facebook. But this week I'm doing a little early because I have a conflict. So if you're watching this, it's recorded only. But again, feel free to put comments in the comment section. I'd be glad to share them with you. So this week's portion we're going to review is from the book of Exodus, in Hebrew Shmos, the second book of the 5 books of Moses. I use as a source Sefaria.org. It's a great resource that has all kinds of ancient texts in it, and Hebrew texts in particular, which is what I study. In chapter 18 of Exodus, on line number, starting on 21, oh, here you go, starting on line 19. So this is a story where the Jewish people have now left Egypt, and Jethro, or Yitro in Hebrew, Jethro, who is the father-in-law of Moses. He is Moses' wife, Zipporah, her father. And so before Moses went to leave with the Jewish people from Egypt, he had left his wife and children in Midian with their father, with the grandfather of the kids and the father of his wife, Jethro. And so Moses went back to Egypt, took the Jewish people out into the desert, and then Jethro, hearing this all happen, now brings to Moses his family, and being his father-in-law and a great man on his own, gives Moses some advice on how to lead the Jewish people. Now, Jethro is said to be one of the high priests of Egypt. He was one of the top-ranking advisors to the Pharaoh. So he wasn't just some dude. He was a man in those days of great renown and spiritual insight. So he sees what Moses is doing, which is really running the Jewish people all by himself. When people had problems, they would wait in line to see him. They'd wait perhaps days. And Moses was working day and night to help them answer questions, legal questions of family law nature, legal questions of business law nature, of spiritual nature. They would all have to come to him. So Jethro sees this, and he's worried that the thing you're doing is not right because you'll wear yourself out. Starting, I'm saying, line 17. The people as well, for the task is too heavy for you, it can't be done alone. Now, again, the purpose of this program is not to take it from a religious point of view. If you're religious, you would say, well, of course Moses isn't doing it alone. He's doing it with God's help. Jethro here is not noticing that. Then he goes on to say, now listen to me, I'll give you counsel. And here's a clue. Moses doesn't ask for the counsel, his father-in-law gives it to him. As a father-in-law, I know that's a mistake. And God be with you. You represent the people before God. You bring disputes before God and join them by the laws and the teachings and make known to them the way they're to go and the practice they're to follow. You shall seek out from all the people capable individuals who fear God, trustworthy ones, who spurn ill-gotten gain. So he's saying to Moses, find some leaders amongst your group, and there'll be chiefs of thousands, and then those thousands will be over hundreds. There'll be other leaders, and those leaders will then pick leaders over 50s, and those leaders over 10. So you have like a Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, district court, local court, city court, and they'll let them judge the people at all times. So what basically Jethro is saying is delegate out the work amongst other people rather than do it yourself. How to bring every major dispute to you, but let them decide minor disputes themselves. Make it easier for yourself by letting them share the burden with you. And which sounds great, right? It'll be easier for you. So a couple lessons. Again, the goal here is not to take it from a religious point of view. It's to take it from a business point of view. And there's two great lessons to learn in this particular story or scenario. What's the mistake the Jewish people make by accepting this? Well, think about it. They had the opportunity, if you follow the story of the Old Testament, Moses spoke directly to God and was the leader of the Jewish people. He spoke to Pharaoh. He led them out. So when they had problems, they had the chance to line up and see him personally. Now they would just see either him, one of his advisors, one of his advisors. They'd have a chance to have a personal relationship with this amazing person. You know, it's interesting. I was invited to a speech by one of Tony Robbins' team members, which is usually great, but it's not as good as Tony Robbins himself. right? And that's the lesson here. The Jewish people settled for Moses appointed leader. Why would people accept that? Well, like all great people, I'm sure Moses or any great person in your life that you've ever known expects the most of you. They want to push you the most. We all want to act our greatest in front of great people. And so when people had the chance to say, well, instead of having to meet Moses' standards, you can meet this guy's standards, this gal's standards, they were willing to take a lower standard. They were too glad to be let off the hook from a relationship personally. They should have fought for the chance to have the relationship with Moses. They should have waited in line. I remember when Ronald Reagan passed away, some friends and I went to drive out to see him at the library where he was lying in state. We purposely decided to go at 3 a.m. when we thought nobody else would go. The freeway was a bumper-to-bumper mob scene for 20 miles. We gave up. It was impossible. So many people just wanted to see him laying in state. Imagine being able in person to see somebody and have a personal audience with somebody like that. That's the opportunity the Jewish people passed up on. The other part, though, what was Moses' mistake? Because the rabbis take Moses down on this particular story as well. And listen to the wording again that Jethro says to him. He says, make it easier for yourself by letting them share the burden with you. What's the mistake? The mistake is success isn't about making it easier on yourself. When we do something that's hard, that makes us better, makes us a greater person. Think of all the trials and tribulations Moses had. They had to deal with, and the challenges of dealing with Pharaoh. Those all made him greater, prepared him to be the great leader that he was. I often in real estate get asked, well, what's the easiest way to build my real estate practice? And I'll say, I don't know. Because it wasn't easy for me. It's hard work. I work hard, not all day long every day, but I work hard every day. And I found that by working hard daily is the easiest way to have success. So here's a message for us, and the rabbis hold Moses accountable for this mistake, that he took this proposal not because it was better for the Jewish people, not because it was better for him and making him greater. You might have said, well, by only handling the major issues, you would elevate yourself by learning from those issues. No, what made him great was his relationship with everybody. And when Jethro said to him, hey, you could be a little easier, take some more vacation time, Moses agreed to that, and that was a mistake on his part. So hopefully the lesson we take, all of us take, is that whatever it is in our lives, whether it be business or personal, we'll have challenges. Let's embrace those. Let's handle them appropriately. Most importantly, let's learn from them, grow from them, and help those challenges and that hard work be the foundation of our future successes. So I'm Bill Gross. We do this every Monday, 5 p.m. If you have any comments or questions, put it in the chat box below, and I'll get to that. Hopefully we'll be live next week on the Zoom. I look forward to seeing you then. As always, make today your best day ever. Thanks.